What's up YouTube, and welcome back for part 12 of the single overhead cam EJ257 hybrid build. In this episode I am planning on finishing up this project. I need to pull my up pipe back out of the car because I need to weld in a bung for the O2 sensor. Now I had a bunch of bungs on order, and when they arrived they're the wrong ones. They're like for EGT sensors or something. They were so small, and I looked up the part number again, and sure enough I ordered the right ones and somehow I got the wrong ones. So locally I was able to source some of the proper size nuts that can be used for an O2 sensor. So if you're wondering, that's an M18 1.5 thread. Most standard O2 sensors will thread into a nut that size. So I just plan to weld this onto the pipe and use it as my bung. And I've got a brand new Denso sensor for the upstream to go in. So I have been running the car without an O2 sensor, and it's pretty rich, stinky smell out of it. So I'm sure this will clean up the rest of it. And having a brand new O2 sensor for the upstream is going to give the computer the best reading possible for air-fuel ratio. So like the last few videos, I'm going to kind of make it short and sweet. I'm not going to show you very much of taking it apart and getting the pipe out of the car, but I will try and clear that bench and set it up so that I can weld the new bung on, and hopefully I can set up the camera and kind of show you that. And thread in the sensor, get it installed, and then I've got to clear some codes out of it. So I got the up pipe out a lot faster than I actually thought I would. The way I've designed it, it relatively comes out easy if you pull it up with the turbo, and then just kind of leave the turbo sitting there, and then just unbolt the up pipe from the turbo while it's sitting there. I've got it marked here, so if the turbo sat here, it's going to kind of point to the passenger side. And I already tested my drill bit in the end of there. Looks like I got a nice sharp enough drill bit to go into the stainless and start it out. And then I'll probably use a stepper bit to open up the hole to where I want it, because I don't think I'll have a big enough drill bit. But anyway, I'll drill it out, and then I'll size up our bung to be welded on there. So you can see it's, there's going to be a bit of a gap to fill because there's no flange on the end of the nut to actually countersink into the hole. But I'll make do with what I have. Once I have it welded on, I'm going to clean it all up and paint the pipe so that I can let it sit overnight, and by tomorrow the paint will be all nice and dry, even though it'll probably be dry tonight, and I'll go about installing it tomorrow night. I forgot I also have the new water hose to put in there so I can hook up the coolant and actually finalize the turbo install. So yeah, I'm going to drill this out, weld on the nut, paint it, and we'll call it a night. So it's the following day. I've come home after work and I took a picture of this up pipe last night and put it on Instagram, so you might have already had a look at it, but that is the finished product. Pretty much sit in the car something like this. The O2 sensor threads in it, absolutely perfect. So I am pretty much ready to install this again. I'll put it in without the O2 sensor just to get it down in there, and then lots of room to actually thread in the O2 sensor and install it afterwards. I do have some 1/2-inch heater hose to repair one of my cooling lines going to the turbo, so I'll have water hooked back up onto the turbo when it's fully installed again. And I'm just going to get to it, kind of fit it all back together. So I've got it all back together and I have just run it. I had to top up my coolant because I had the water lines apart just temporarily, just dropped a little bit. The O2 sensor all hooked up. I plugged in the wideband, the new wideband sensor, cleared the codes, and started up and ran. And it ran really good for the first couple minutes. I didn't even notice anything. I was standing outside the garage and I heard a little change in the exhaust tone. And as I walked up to check, kind of come up here to the front, I noticed the check engine light on again. So giving it a couple revs, I noticed it a little hesitant and maybe a bit of a timing issue happening. So I shut it down and scanned for codes. I got a P0325, which is a knock sensor. Commonly put knock sensors into older Subarus. The one that I have in there, I'm trying to figure out why I put it back in there, because it is a really old sensor, and I do have 2 of them in my toolbox, new ones, just for this kind of occasion. So yeah, I don't know why I left it in there, but because I think I had that code before I took it apart. Regardless, tomorrow night, I think tomorrow at lunchtime, I'm probably going to go get insurance, and then tomorrow I'll come home. I've actually got something quick I need to do for the neighbor, but I might put this in first, just kind of let this cool overnight, and I'll probably have to take the intercooler back off, but once the intercooler's back out of the way, I can just drop an extension kind of right down there. That should take care of that code. And because I mean, there's no knock in the engine at all. I mean, it's nice and quiet, really smooth sounding. And I'll go for a drive after that and just determine, you know, if I'm going to be able to drive it to work the next couple days. And actually, while it was warming up and sitting here, the lower rad hose started to just drip a drop of coolant every once in a while. And I've tightened up the clamp at the radiator end. It's kind of funny because, you know, I've run this thing so many times now, and for that just started happening just now. So it's good when you can take your time and kind of find those little issues, and then you don't go for a long drive and, you know, start losing coolant on the road. So yeah, come back tomorrow night. Hopefully I get some papers, insurance, put this guy in. So yeah, I kind of wanted to finish this video with an actual drive, but I realized, you know, I'm running low on time. I wanted to get this video up for tonight. It is today if you're watching this on Thursday. But I did put the sticker on. I got the knock sensor all installed. I've been for quite a few drives. I've gone down the highway with the car. I experienced this tiny little bit of smoke when I'm on decel in lower gear. Second gear, decel, just every once in a while coming up to a stop, I'll just see this puff of smoke come out of the exhaust, and I can't smell it. I think it's fuel, but every other time there's no smoke whatsoever, even when I'm on the highway. And I've been generally shifting around 3,000, 3,500, so little bit more time, a few more drives. I plan on putting a Sunday video out, and we will go for a nice long drive and get a better idea of the reliability and whether the thing's actually going to smoke or not. I don't think so, but you never know. So if you like this video, definitely give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, please consider hitting that subscribe button for me. Leave your questions and comments further down below, and I'll see you in the next one.